fantastic there, but using an older version of Internet Explorer, you might have gaps or spaces, or the font is just way screwy. Then everybody that uses that particular browser, the Internet Explorer, they're going to come to your website, think that you're, a bonehead and don't know what you're doing, and then boom, they're out. So you could be missing out on, especially if you're trying to sell something on your web page, you could be missing out on some major bucks. So spend a little bit extra time testing them. This stuff's free. Go and download Internet Explorer, the latest version, an older version. One thing that I would suggest is pretty cool. Not a lot of people know about this. Check out Netscape. I believe it's Netscape version 8. Not the latest one, which I think is 9 or 10. It doesn't hold true here. But in version 8, down in like the lower left-hand corner, it gives you the option of toggling back and forth from Internet Explorer and Mozilla Firefox. So with that one browser, Netscape, which is kind of built off of what they call the Gecko engine, which is the same as Mozilla. It's kind of like a Mozilla deal, but it allows you to use a Internet Explorer browser and a Mozilla Firefox browser with just the one window. You can just toggle back and forth. And that being said, I believe there's also add-ons for Mozilla that allows you to do the same thing. As I mentioned earlier with that Colorzilla, there's add-ons for Mozilla Firefox that allow you to view web pages as if you're looking at it from an Internet Explorer browser. So you might want to check that out as well. The main gist here is it does not hurt to have a copy of Mozilla Firefox, a copy of Internet Explorer, and I'd even shoot for a copy of Netscape and Safari. Safari's pretty cool. You'd be surprised how fast that thing is. But anyway, one of the things on your web hosting service, if you've got one, is they've got an analytics, more than likely, and it will tell you, at least ways once you get your page up and loaded, and something that Google also has, what browsers are being used by the visitors that come to your website. And frankly, on mine, a majority of them, it's about, I'd say, 60-40, 70-30, the larger amount being Mozilla Firefox, the smaller amount being Internet Explorer, and then there's trace amounts of the rest. By all means, test it in several different browsers. That's the gist here. Now here are some common terms that we've already mentioned, in most cases, already on these videos. And one would be HTML. That's the language that tells the browser what to do, and that stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, a web page is a file that's written in HTML, and a website is simply a collection of these web pages that are hopefully all linked together on a server somewhere. Now, top fold is a particular part of your web page. It's what's referred to as prime real estate. Anyway, as they're talking about virtual real estate referencing your web pages, this is the section of your web page that the visitor sees before scrolling down at all. Now then, to code, that means to type out HTML into a file. Pretty much as we've been doing here, that's hand code. Attributes, well, attributes, when placed inside of a tag, that's the little angle brackets we've been dealing with, the greater than and less than pointy brackets, well, they specify an element. Kind of like a blonde, brown, or red hair would be an attribute of a person. Well, the width, the center, the height, these would be attributes of a particular tag. White space. These are just extra spaces and blank lines placed in the HTML file. And they really don't make the page appear any differently. It's just that it makes it easier for you to read the code. Render. Well, render is the act of displaying an HTML file in the web browser. Basically, the browser reads the tags, the attributes, the elements, everything, and interprets them. Another big tip, and this is the biggie, is the planning stage. You want to really try to plan your layout. I know it may be boring, but you want to think about what you want to do and who your target audience is going to be. And you want to do this before you sit down and start typing your code out on your, for your web pages. Because really, flying by the seat of your pants will most likely get the job done eventually, but a little time spent on planning will save a lot of time and follow through. Yeah, remember this: prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. 7 P's of successful living. Now, screen resolution is an item that is easily overlooked when somebody sits down and starts planning out their web pages. You want to consider the visitor's screen resolutions, or the dimensions of their screen. Now, naturally, when the cost of computers were about the same as several months' house payments, well, the average screen size was, I'd say, about 13 to 15 inches. And the average resolution the factory set them at was right around 640 by 480. That's 640 pixels wide by 480 pixels high. And you didn't really want to exceed the width of that 640 pixels in making your web pages. Nowadays, I would say 17-inch monitors are more the norm, and the resolutions from the factories are more like 800 by 600. That's 800 pixels wide by 600 pixels high. And basically what this is meaning is that you do not want to have your web pages more than 800 pixels wide. The height is not so much of an issue because people are used to scrolling up and down, but if you have your web page wider than what their resolution is, say you've got your web page at say 900 pixels wide just to get all those goodies in there, well, people are most likely not going to scroll from left to right, because most browsers will read that as, well, I mean, they're going to try to capture the entire width that you have set on your web page, and if their resolution is maxed at 800 wide and your web page is at 900 wide, well, it's going to go ahead and bring it up in 900, but only 800 of that is going to show. If they want to see the other 100 pixels, well, they're going to have to scroll either from left to the right. And I don't know if web TV is still out and about. I haven't seen much of that in a long time, but that was actually 500 pixels wide. Boy, howdy, does that really throw a wrench in the works. So you want to keep that in mind. People don't mind scrolling up and down. That's kind of the accepted norm. But scrolling left to right, really not that acceptable. You'll be losing people left and right when doing that. Now, the final tip I'm going to throw your way today, and there's several others out there, but yeah, I'm going to limit it to just 9, and that is to link your web pages together. Don't leave any pages orphaned, meaning you've got a way to get to the page, but you don't have a way on that page to get back home. So basically, have a link back to your home page or your main page on all of your website pages. Now, this is bringing us to the end of this video on basic web design. Now, this is by all means not everything to know before creating your first web page, but there's enough here to get you started, and a lot of what you'll learn will be from seeing other people's websites. So get started with your planning and doing. Create your first web page, and it will get a lot easier as you go along. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.